Hello future CS, welcome back to my channel again, your one-stop guide for everything related to CA exams. If you are new here, I am Pooja, a chartered accountant. I have an experience of working for Ernst & Young and KPMG, and I help CA aspirants like you succeed with practical tips, strategies and support. So in this video, I am sharing the key takeaways from the ICAI webinar on the CA Inter FM and SM. So we'll cover the section-wise marks, common exam mistakes, presentation tips for FM. And for SM, we'll be covering strategies to solve MCQ, strategy to solve case studies, how to write answer for direct theory question. We'll also see the marking pattern and we'll also see some answer writing tips. So let's get started. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Every subscription works like a motivation for me and it also makes my day. So guys, when you visit my channel, in the playlist section, you can see there is a separate playlist for CA Inter exams. So in this playlist, you can find different type of study plan, subject specific guidance and much more videos. And there is also a playlist for CA GPT for students. In this playlist, I have made different videos in which I have shown as to how you can use CA GPT while preparing for your exams. So do visit my channel and watch these videos. And there are various other playlists as well which might be helpful for you. So first we'll start with the financial management part. So there are 4 sections here. For each of the section, let's see the weightage and mark allocation. And simultaneously, we'll also see some important topics and we'll also go through the important questions as to which type of questions might come in the exam. So section 1. This covers 2 chapters, chapter 1 and chapter 3. So first let's see the weightage. The weightage for this is 10% to 15%. And the marks allotted are 6 marks to 9 marks. So under this we have chapter 1, scope and objectives of financial management, and mostly this is a theoretical chapter. So under this chapter some important topics are long-term finance decisions like investment decision, financing decision and dividend decisions. And then we have short-term finance decision like working capital management, scope and objectives of financial management, profit maximization versus wealth maximization, role and function of CFO, and then the relationship of financial management with other disciplines of accounting. And then we also have chapter number 3 in this section 1, that is financial analysis and planning, that is ratio analysis. So under this chapter, important topics are types of ratio. So under this we have liquidity ratio or the short-term ratio, and then we have leverage ratio or long-term ratio. And further under long-term ratio we have capital structure ratio and coverage ratio. And then we have activity ratio, efficiency ratio, performance ratio, turnover ratio. Then you have profitability ratio. So under this also there are various other ratios. So learn all of these ratios, the formulas for this ratio. So this is a practical chapter and you will get questions on computation of various ratio. And also one more important topic in this chapter is treatment of capital gain or loss in capital budgeting. So this is very important. And some type of questions asked in this ratio chapter is preparation of balance sheet using ratio, determination of different ratios, and then calculation of different ratio when some ratios are given, and determining different ratio when balance sheet and income statement is given. So now let's go to the next section, section number 2. So this has chapter number 2, chapter 4 to chapter 6. So the weightage for this is 45% to 50%, and the marks allotted are 28 marks to 31 marks. So first we have chapter 2, types of financing. So basically this is also a theoretical chapter. So let's see some important topics in this. So the important topics are financial sources. based on maturity of repayment like long term, medium term, short term, and based on basic sources. So under this we have external source and internal source. So in external source we have share capital, which is further divided into two categories, equity shares and preference shares. And then we have debt or borrowed capital, which is further divided into debentures, loan from financial institutions and others. And under internal source we have retained earnings. And under long-term source of finance, an important topic is venture capital funding and asset securitization. And then under medium-term source of finance, the important topics are external commercial borrowing and euro issues. And under short-term finance, key topic is trade credit. And then some other important sources of finance are venture capital financing, debt securitization, lease financing, masala bond and bridge finance. So make sure to go through all of these topics. Then we have chapter number 4, cost of capital. So under this you will have to go through the concept of weighted average cost of capital. So you have book value weights as well as market value weights. Then you have marginal cost of capital. And then you have to go through cost of sources of capital. In this we have cost of long-term debt, cost of preference share capital, cost of equity share capital and cost of retained earning. Go through the formula for calculation of all of these. So some important types of question that will come from this chapters are calculation of cost of debentures, preference shares and equity shares, calculation of weighted average cost of capital using book weights and market weights, determination of revised weighted average cost of capital and revised cost of debentures, preference shares and equity shares, then calculation of marginal cost of capital and determination of existing and new weighted average cost of capital. Next we have chapter number 5, financing decision, that is capital structure. So under this some key concepts are first capital structure theories. Under this we have net income approach, traditional approach, net operating income approach, approach and financial hierarchy. And then you have designing an optimum capital structure, that is EBIT EPS analysis. And also go through the different capital structure theories. Both relevance theory and irrelevance theory, both are important. And some types of questions asked from these chapters are, different questions are asked on various approaches. And then questions are based on levered and unlevered firms. And then there will be questions on determination of the better financial plan. And then there will be questions on calculation of indifferent point and EPS. And determination of current and revised capital structure. And there will also be questions where debt is increased and interest percentage changes. So the next chapter is chapter number 6, financing decision leverages. So under this you have to go through operating leverage, financial leverage and combined leverage. All three are important. And then under financial leverage, go through the concept of trading on equity and double-edged sword. So then we have section number 3. This covers chapter 7 and chapter 8. So the weightage for this is 20% to 25% and the marks allotted are 13 marks to 16 marks. So first we have chapter number 7, investment decisions. So in this you have calculating cash flow. This topic is important. So under this we have initial cash outflow, interim incremental cash flow and terminal year incremental net cash flow. And also you might be asked to prepare a statement showing the calculation of cash inflow after tax. So ensure you go through that. And then also different capital budgeting techniques are important. Ensure you study that. And then some type of questions asked under this chapter are, theoretical questions might also come based on capital budgeting techniques. And then there might be question whether a project should be accepted or not using NPV or other techniques. And the question may be based on replacement of old machine, and you might be asked to give ranking between two or more proposals to identify the best proposal. And then we have chapter number 8, dividend decisions. So under this you have to learn different theories of dividend, that is relevance theory and irrelevance theory, and other models also. And some types of questions are effect of dividend on market value of share. There might be questions on PE ratio, and you might be asked to calculate market price of share using dividend theories. And there might also be question on calculation of market price per share using dividend payout ratio. Then we have the last section, section 4. So this comprises of chapter 9, management of working capital. And the weightage for this is 15 to 20%. And the marks allotted are 9 marks to 12 marks. So under this you have to learn about introduction to working capital management, treasury and cash management, management of inventory. And one more important topic is management of receivables. Then management of payables and financing of working capital. Then the different type of questions asked from this chapter are question based on operating cycle. Then preparation of statement of working capital with different ratios and value. And there might be question on calculation of estimated working capital when income statement is given. And you might be asked to prepare cash budget. There might be question on analyzing different credit policy. And there might also be theoretical question based on working capital. So now if we look at the section wise weightage, section 2, this comprises of the highest weightage and highest marks, and next is the section 3. So these are the topics or chapter with the highest weightage and the highest marks. Next we'll discuss what are the commonly committed errors in the financial management in the past exam, and also some tips on how to avoid them. So the first commonly committed error was not reading the question properly. So read the question very carefully, and before you start answering the question, read it once again. And also while reading, highlight the important points so that you can keep a track of it. The second error noticed was leaving the easiest question to the end. In the end, if there is no time remaining, you might not be able to answer this easy question. So try to get as many marks as possible by attempting the easier questions first, which are more straightforward. And the next error noticed was spending too much time on single question. So if you do not know the answer, don't spend much time on that question. Leave some space for that and come back to it and write it later on. And the next error noticed was leaving the MCQs blank. So don't leave any MCQ blank. Narrow down your choice, that is, use the elimination method and try to answer all the MCQs since there is no negative marking also. And the next commonly committed error was not having proper conceptual clarity. So before answering, have proper clarity in mind. So think of the answer correctly and then answer the question. Now we'll discuss some presentation tips. So write concisely and directly to the point. Avoid repeating the same sentences. And write legibly. Make sure your handwriting is clear. For example, ensure proper presentation while attempting the question on types of financing. And also use proper headings for each step. For example, if you are solving a question regarding NPV, for each step you have to give a heading. For example, step number 1, calculation of NPV. So step by step you have to give the heading. Also write each figure and each formula clearly. And then the last tip given was leave proper margins and space between the answers to improve the readability. So now let's see the strategic management part. So in this basically there are 5 sections and 5 chapters. So the weightage is equal only for all the chapters in this. The weightage is 15% to 25%, and from each chapter 9 marks to 15 marks questions will be asked. So do not leave any chapter since weightage is equal for this. So first we will discuss some tips on solving the case scenario based MCQ. So what you have to do is first read the requirement part of the question. And when you are reading the requirement, note down mentally itself what concepts are mentioned in the question. And then go to the case scenario and focus on finding the concepts that you have identified in the requirement part. And then connect the concepts from the question to the relevant parts of the case scenario. And before finally answering, again revisit the question and attempt to solve them based on the linked concepts from the case scenario. So this approach will basically help you to solve the case scenario more efficiently and accurately. It will help you to build speed also, improving your overall performance. Next, some tips was given on how to attempt independent MCQ. So for this, first read the question carefully. Understand the scenario presented in the question and the specific information the question provides. The next step will be to identify the key concept. Determine which strategic management concepts are being tested in the question. This could be topics like competitive advantage, strategic analysis, strategic formulation, implementation or evaluation. And then analyze the situation. So consider the given situation from the perspective of the concept you have identified. Think about how the principles of strategic management apply to the question in hand. Next suggestion given was use elimination technique. That is, eliminate incorrect option. Exclude the answer choices that are clearly incorrect based on your understanding of the concept and given situation. And the next step is choose the best answer. Select the option that best aligns with the strategic management concept and the strategic details of the scenario provided in the question. And also before answering, double check your answer. That is, review your answer. Double check your selection to ensure it accurately reflects the application of strategic management concepts to the given situation. And also if you are unsure about a question, don't get stuck there. Go and answer the other question and come back to it later on. Next, some suggestions were given on how to answer the compulsory case scenario based descriptive question. So the first descriptive question is compulsory and mostly it will be a case scenario based question. So in this it is suggested that you should use STAR approach. So let's see what is this STAR approach. So first is situation. So identify the key issue or concept in the case. Next is task. Explain the concept or theory relevant to the case. Then action. Discuss the actions taken or recommendations based on the situation. Then the result. That is, conclude the outcome or impact of the action. So this is STAR approach. Situation, task, action and result. So you can write the answer like this in step-by-step format. Next, some tips were given on how to answer the direct theory question. So while answering the direct theory question, highlight the main points with a brief description, such as bullet points with heading, and write your answers in clear and concise manner. So rather than trying to cover everything, focus on providing in-depth analysis and well-supported arguments. So a key point here is quality of the content is more important than quantity. So break the answers into brief points or paragraph and also support your answers with relevant examples from real world case scenarios to demonstrate your understanding of the concepts. Ensure your examples are well explained and directly related to the points you are making. And also avoid diagrammatic representation or flowcharts. Next, some student had some queries as to what will be the marking pattern in the strategic management. So it was mentioned that stepwise marking pattern will be followed. So the breakup of the marks will be done for writing of the relevant concepts, heading, and application of the concept with respect to the given case in hand in the question. So you have to write step by step, since for every step there is marks allotted. Next, some tips were given for writing answer in the exam. So first tip was relating to what type of words or language you should use. So use simple business-like language. Avoid flowery or complicated wording. And always underline important keywords so that the examiner can spot them easily. And also write the answers in bullet points instead of long paragraph. And avoid generic answers. Be clear and specific. Always end your answers with a proper conclusion that directly addresses the requirement of the question. Also, you can write the answers in your own words, but ensure they remain clear, concise, and well presented. Well framed answers with proper flow are easier to read and fetch more marks. So, the key mistake here are writing long, flowery answers without keywords or structure. So, a key exam tip here is keep it simple, to the point, and examiner friendly. So guys, that's a wrap on the ICI webinar summary for the CA Inter FM and SM. Focus on concepts, avoid mistakes, and present your answers well. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. All the best for your exams. Believe in yourself and success is within your reach.